Hello everyone, this is Robert from Book of Mormon Editions, where we discuss printings, publications, and various editions of the Book of Mormon. Previously I did a video regarding the 1970s edition of the Book of Mormon that had Reformed Egyptian symbols on a gold foil cover. This was produced by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints out of Salt Lake City, Utah, as a commemorative keepsake edition. I'll share that link for that video in the descriptions below. I also mentioned that this gold cover Book of Mormon was not the first edition to recognize these symbols on a cover. To the best of my knowledge, it actually was this printing. So today we will review the 1966 authorized edition of the Book of Mormon, published by the reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, now called the Community of Christ, headquartered in Independence, Missouri. The most significant feature of the book is that the dust cover has a title listed with a panel of symbols that are recognized as Reformed Egyptian writing. The source for these symbols come from a scrap of paper that was within Oliver Cowdery's estate in the turn of the 1900s. This was in Joseph Smith's handwriting as a sample set of what the symbols were on the golden plates of the Book of Mormon. The reorganized church had this paper in their possession and used various symbols on it for their dust cover of their 1966 printing. The hardback is a burgundy cloth cover with words in gold on the spine and front. Most other copies of the 1966 RLDS edition I've seen did not have the dust cover, but I find it amazing that this dust cover has a panel of Reformed Egyptian, and it also looks like it has a picture of the Pyramid of Teotihuacan in Mexico. This 1966 edition has the testimony of the witnesses on the front pages, followed by an introduction regarding this 1966 edition. There's a preface regarding the 1908 printing, of which this edition is sourced from. The text of the Book of Mormon is double column form, but without footnote references at the bottom. The text ends on page 374 with a pronunciation guide and a reference index in the back. The preface in the front acknowledges that there have been textual updates to this edition. Several phrases of "and it came to pass" were taken out, and other spelling and grammatical updates have purposely been made in this edition. Interestingly, in this first printing, there are also a few misprints, and it's interesting to note the following. On page 149, the RLDS verse of Alma 16, verse 59 says, "shall" has rearranged letters. Page 260, Helaman chapter 1, verse 26, has a duplicate "upon." Page 263, Helaman chapter 2, verse 29, there's a period rather than a comma, or the letter B is missing from capitalization. On a personal note, this edition was one of the first non-Salt Lake editions I looked through, and was interested in the dust cover as it was something I had not seen before. I've not often seen many dust covers on editions of the Book of Mormon, and one coming from the RLDS Church made it even more interesting. This edition was also the first book that my wife and I verbally read to compare it with the current Salt Lake editions. This was how I personally got interested in finding different printings and what makes them unique. So the Community of Christ editions have continued to have these textual updates and omissions, like editing out various "and it came to pass" phrases. I'm okay with it, as they have the insight to update the words or phrases that help their readers. The message is that the Book of Mormon draws readers closer to the Savior, and I certainly did when I looked through this edition. So this 1966 printing was a benchmark printing for the RLDS Church. I'm glad to share this edition with you and hope that you have some insight on printings from this group. Thanks for watching this video. Feel free to comment, especially if there are anyone from the remnant branches or Community of Christ that want to comment on this edition. If you have a special or unique edition of the Book of Mormon that you'd like reviewed on this series, please contact me at bomeditions@gmail.com. Best wishes until next time.